So I used to call myself a parking boy, but I used to run the parking. And she used to park her car there. And with time, I came to understand that where she works and all that. And I used to tell the people I work with that this lady, I'm going to make her my wife. And they all used to laugh because they knew I was just from a heartbreak, a long distance relationship. And I had no interests with women, and just my interests were business. I was a serious guy doing business, but very simple. So she used to bring her car. She never used to talk to anyone. The protocol was you park the car and leave the keys. So she just used to come, dump her car and go. But she was very smart. So I used to look at her and say, wow, I think I can give Caro a chance. And so with time, I allocated her private parking where now she could have a car washed. That's how I started, because I had to make it real. Her car used to be washed. She used to come and find it clean, and she would just be given the car at the gate. She didn't have to go and pick her car, and I tried to be warm. That's how I got to know her.
You forgot. When I used to park the car there, yes, I never used to speak to anybody, but I used to see him. But I didn't know that he's the owner. So I used to see him pass. Walks very fast. Even today he walks very fast. I can't keep up in town. But he would pass and I would see him from behind and I would think, even from behind he looks nice.
That one I didn't know.
Yes. And so I didn't know that he's the owner. I never knew that he's the owner until when you came to the office to give us the property to manage. And then in the evening is when I went back to the parking and I found out that you're the owner of the parking.
She told me to meet her at Nairobi West. And on that day, I completely forgot that I had a date. Do you know, I remembered at 7. We were to meet at 5.
Yeah, you came at 9.
And I went there and she was fire. She didn't want to talk to me. And apparently her friends she was meeting, I realized one of the guys I went to primary school with in Mombasa. So I decided, okay, so you don't want to talk to me? Fine. I'll buy the drinks, and I went to sit with that guy. So we sat there till around 11. Then I left them there and I went home. She didn't even say bye, but I managed to talk to her friend, a very close friend of her who passed away. She was very close to her. I spoke to her and told her, please, I'm getting fond of this woman, and I pray that you'll talk to her to just forgive me and give me one chance. I will do everything just for that. And she told me, don't worry me, I've seen the way she likes you. She doesn't talk to people the way she talks to you. I'll do my best. And that day I went home with a smile at least. The next date, we actually, I asked her for drinks, to go out for drinks. And she told me, okay, let me get off the office, but I'll come and pick you. I don't want you to come because I know you'll be late as last time. So I told her, fine. She came. We went to a new place, China, something on Gong Road. There was a nice place up there. We went and had drinks. She had her friend, the one who convinced her to meet me. And I called another friend of mine who used to work for media. So we came, we had drinks, we had food, and it was a very expensive date. Because I remember I paid 35,000 shillings for 2 rounds of drinks and snacks. But then that was, at that time, 35K was a lot of money. But I said, if that's a struggle, a luta continua.
Yes, but yeah, I liked you, and of course I wanted to see you more, but I don't know.
You never showed any sign. You are. They were living abroad, so when they came, we organized. My grandmother, my sisters, all of them were there. We went home, we presented ourselves, and we were given go ahead now to take our hand, and that's the way it happened.
Because of the way we were always together, remember I used to live in Thika. I had a house in Thika, and I had a house in Langata because of work, and then he had his house in Kilimani.
Yeah.
So we were always somehow on the road, going to meet here or going wherever. So we said, since the parents have already blessed our friendship, we can move in together. And so we looked for a house in Westlands. We found a house, a 1-bedroom house, and we moved in. Actually, we didn't date for long. Our dating, by the way, was very brief. Our dating was like a few months. But I already knew 100% this is the person I've been praying for. And so there was no doubt. And we moved in. Then God blessed us with our daughter, who came soon after. She's been a great blessing to us. She's actually a replica of the two of us in many ways. Our love for food.
Actually, our love for food started in a funny way.
Yes.
Because when we were dating, I used to go to her house, and I expect a meal. Kaugali hivi, kakuku. Me, I used to cook from scratch. For so many years, I was the only boy. So I used to live with my sisters and my mother. I spent my time in the kitchen, and my dad used to be so mad at me that when I wanted to be a chef, he told me, never, you cannot be a chef. Cooking is for women. So that's how I became what I am. But I used to love food. In my house, I used to cook. She used to come and find chicken ready. I cook for her from scratch. But in her house, would go, she cooks rice and noodles and eggs and smoky. So one day I told her, do you know, if you live with me, you have to start cooking. So when we moved in together, we started. She has a very good hand in cooking, so we started doing it together, and she would cook very good food. Even one time we would cook so much food and give our neighbors, because we used to live in a place which had like 5 houses, 5 units, and most of them were single ladies. So we cooked pizza one day, very nice pizza with a lot of cheese and stuff like that, and we couldn't finish it, so we had done like 3 or 4 pizzas. So we took to our guests, our neighbors, and they were happy. So we said, this is good business. We'll be cooking daos, and we give them. We cook chapos. Because we knew they normally don't. They're single ladies. Most of the time you'd find, papers coming in to deliver, and you'd see, hey, this is 1,800, the big one. As we are cooking better, So, we started cooking that way. And, as usual, we were young. We would throw bashes every end month. Every end month we had a bash.
And that would annoy me.
A lot of guys, my guys coming from all corners. We used to host quite a lot of people. Every end month I used to have a bash. And they used to come, they eat, they carry food, drinks and everything. And then she used to be so mad because cleaning up the next day is a mess. So the last time I had a bash was the time it rained. And my friends, one is a DJ, he comes with everything. The other one comes with tents. The other one comes with drinks. The other one comes with, everything. Budget. It rained. She didn't talk to me for a whole week. She told me this has to stop. So
you can't be celebrating the child's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. I mean, you celebrate only a birthday.
We were celebrating every end month.
No.
For that month of that day.
Yes, but it was a lot of fun. Remember, we were more like friends. And we spend a lot of time. Actually, we spend.
By the way, people used to complain.
90% of our time we spent together.
My friends used to complain. Our friends used to ask, what do you people talk? I mean, you can't be in the same car a whole day. Jioni mko kwa nyumba. You are together all the time. What? I mean, I tell them, she's my best friend. and we don't get tired of each other. So to make it brief, we later on
happens, and then you take it out and somebody gives you their peace of mind about it. And he listened to his side and I listened to my side, and we decided throw away everything that has been there. And that was in 2015.
Yeah.
And
it was a very
things spiraled in very few
short,
days.
yeah.
And one day I just packed and left. I completely left. In the morning he left us in the house, and in the evening, you know the story where you are told found an echo.
Imagine she carried everything, even the flowers
and the stones.
Even the stones. She carried my electric fence. She carried everything, even the bulbs. Do you know, I'd gone to my sister's. You know, I was so mad with her because issues just fell apart in less than a week. So I told her, I'm going. I didn't tell her I was going, but I was going to my sister's place in Buruburu. I went to my sister and I told her, if I sit in that house, it's not going to be a very nice thing. Can I hang around here for like 2-3 days? I cool down. She told me, fine. My sister understands me, so I stayed in her house and she kept on. You know, when I told her the story, another version came in. And her, she had been given like 10 versions. Salt, pepper on the wound, everything. So I said, let me go back. After 3 days, I went back and I found even the doors were open. She didn't even lock the doors. Even the gate was open. Though we live in a gated community, but it was drama, literal drama. Literally, that even the neighbors were like, what happened here? So I came, I saw the house was empty, I looked, there was nothing. I said, okay, she will know who I am. I was so annoyed, but I said, okay, calm down. So I called some guys, they came and cleaned up the house, we locked it up, and I posted it for rent. That's our home. And within 2 days, I got a call. There's a guy who was moving from Nairobi coming to Thika. He had just, I think, resigned from his job somewhere. And he asked me, and I gave him the tab. And he told me, send me your account number, I post money. And he paid, and he moved in. So I said, that's cool. She have money in my account. If she's not living here, let her go to where she went. But you see her, she went to her father's office, and her father gave her a house to live in. So she moved with everything, including our matrimonial bed. So I tracked her and I knew where she was staying. Then I said I won't look for her. Let her be happy because she'd rather be there. So I went to my father's farm in Kiserian. We have a farm there, so I went there and I parked there. At that period, my father was not well. He had cancer, but he had had cancer for like 8 years. But this time it was really bad. It was really, really bad. So my mama told me that we need to kind of set the place ready because he might be coming back anytime soon. Of course, in a casket, because that was how bad it was. So I said, wow, God works in mysterious ways. Yani tulikosana so that I can go prepare my dad's grave. Cool. See me, I went. I did work. Then he passed on. And it was really, really bad for us because he had to be flown back from the UK.
But when we were apart, there was one thing that was that remained. Every evening or every morning, we would pray for him. We'd pray that whatever issues that we are having, we would have peace in, peace in his mind, peace in my mind. That one, if you don't have peace in your mind, you can't even one day come and sit down and talk. But I remember me and my daughter used to pray to give daddy peace and keep him well. And that was it. We never bothered to call each other. I remember I was very annoyed. I had said, let it be. Because it's not actually, it's 1 week. It had been, there things can just pile up, and then they blow up in a few days. And so, we still maintained the prayer. We still remembered him, but we never looked for each other. So one time when I was at home, that night I felt very disturbed. And remember, Thika is in Kiserian. It's very far. Driving all the way, it's very far. So I don't know why I was feeling disturbed, but I told God, now, you're the one who's with him. You take care of him. Whatever it is that's happening, you take care of him. But in the morning, I intended to drive to Kiserian to go and see him. And which I did. And when I went, I found him. He was having a rough night. I don't know. I think maybe you were having nightmares or something. And we talked again.
You cooked? And
I cooked for him and the uncle who used to live there. And that uncle used to tell me. He used to keep telling me, Shemeji. I say, he would pull me close and tell me, kijana anaumia. But then we sat and talked. And we made resolutions and we decided, we know where the problem came from. We know what made the problem even bigger. And if we can come out wiser out of this, then we can make it.
Yeah.
And so I went back to Thika. And from then on, we started rebuilding the relationship. He would come and visit us. And of course, being the man he says, he can't stay in my house. So you would visit. And
I would visit and tell I'm not paying this rent.
And drive back.
And drive back to Kiserian at midnight.
Yes.
Imagine.
Which is fine. So I told him.
It was crazy.
We'll give the tenant notice and we'll come back home, which we did. You'll never know the person 100%. There'll always be something new that you will learn. I'm sure even our parents who are in their 70s learn something new about the other person. But once you accept that even you are not perfect, you're able to accept the other person. Yes.
Yeah, it's true, because I would like to say, let people not be scared of going through these phases, because that's the only way you learn the true phases of marriage. You'll go through the lovey-dovey, you live there, you start doubting each other, you move from there, you start quarreling. But ultimately, you should never stick on one phase. You should always realize which phase you are in. If it's a conflict phase, get out of it. Find solutions. Because once you hold that bile in your heart, it explodes. It might cause you to do more harm to yourself, not even the other person. And that is not the way God wants us to live. And as she says, this phase has changed from the conflict we had. Now we are more loving. I would talk to her. Those days I used to tell her, you don't listen to me. I tell you do this, I come back and you've done exactly what I told you not to do. What will I do with you now? You don't listen to me. And a woman is supposed to be listening to the husband. And that time, I may not have been right on what I'm telling you, because I thought that I'm the order master. But you see, right now, I don't need to tell her what to do. She just does it. So everything has changed. It's like we have started all over again. For me, I've learned what she likes and what she doesn't like. And I adjust for her to be happy. And she does the same. She'd tell me, I'm going jogging. Why can't you join me? Then I tell her, me, I'm not a morning person. Then she tells me that's not the excuse. Then I tell her, okay, I'll buy shoes for running. I don't have shoes. I find excuses to go away. But she'll always wake up and tell me, today you're not running with me. I tell her no. She goes and she comes back. So she has been persistent until I promised her, this coming year, I'll be jogging with you the 10 kms you do every day.
Tell you.
Okay, no, most of the time when I run, I get malaria. But this time, I'll make sure I'll be jogging with you every morning. That's a promise.
It's on camera?
Yeah, it's on camera. Trust me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it. And you love so much that I think sometimes you get frustrated. But I listen and I hear what you normally say. And I love you also very much. I love what we have. I think it's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I believe that God is on our side.
Yes.
And I believe that the best is yet to come.